be tricky to trade. He does have a couple of wand charges, and of course, it's gonna have to just watch that spacing again. Relatively slow game, like we're 6 minutes in with no first blood. Just safe plays from both teams.
Unsurprising. A lot of pressure, right? Like you're just one series away from being knocked out. You're just gonna play cautiously as you can.
Radiant structures
while being
are
very, very
falling.
efficient.
Spread thrice.
Radiant are
Top
scanning.
lane, Red Panda pretty alive under the T-Wall
Yes,
tower.
Dire's
Trying to
top
connect with a
tower is
pop-up
under
arrow.
attack.
Now the epicenter. Just being committed for that first button.
First
DT
blood on the
is
SAG
successfully
strikes
going to be
the
able to take it
perfect
for
note.
himself. Nice setup there
Dire's
from
top
IG.
tower is
You
under
don't mind
attack.
popping the ulti for that. You're not really going to use it anytime soon anyway.
Yeah, it's a nice little pick off for them, of course. That does show them that God King has transitioned to the jungle. So RTB's off to find that safe farm. You're not seeing that same
Dire's
progression.
top tower is under attack.
Betsu was in a lot
Your
of danger, but
ancestors made.
Red Panda does make the rotation in on the Abaddon and does protect with the Aphotic Shield.
Dire's top tower has
Maybe
fallen.
try and make a play here onto him.
Dire's middle tower is under
He's got
attack.
remnants available. There really should be no hope in hell of actually killing him off. They're trying, however. But Emo seems to be just happy seeing their mana being expended. Ollie will come in and fill up the bottle for Emo anyway, so it's not like he locks out on anything. He's just going to keep farming up on the Ember.
Yeah, it's again playing into both sides. I mean, IG aren't finding those kills. SAG is forced to drag their heroes down, but they're giving space for God King to farm up safely.
Dire's top
IG's
tower
not
is
getting
under
that same
attack.
space for Fly. So it's a trade-off they're picking up here. They're not giving her more from that space, despite having these heroes located down mid, and they keep going mid.
Setsu is the target. You know, if they can just disrupt him, this game could be very, very hard. And now Red Panda will lost the
Radiant's
target,
courier
but the
has
stun
been killed.
does connect onto Setsu. However, he becomes the turnaround. Cookie not going to land. And Burrow Strike is going to land from JT onto Setsu.
top
But he
tower
will
is
continue
under
to
attack.
survive as Red Panda continue to keep this void spirit alive. God King going to the arcane room. He's going to get stomped and down. The chain's going to lock him in. Sunder, he will be able to run away anyway.
Radiant's middle tower
Very
is
close
under
calls
attack.
in that mid lane, but SAG do keep everyone alive and they do back off successfully.
It's a lot of time being expended from both sides and trying to win out these
Dire's top tower is
positional
under
trades.
attack.
And you're still not getting Fly to a good spot.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Dryness of Time does connect with the Gales of Fly Karga. Fly just going to go for the TP up a Red Panda, trying to at least secure the kill on the Karga if he can. And he is just going to go for those off. Meanwhile, they actually trying to censor it. And mid lane, we are going to see September getting jumped on here by Eva. He'll go down.
Radiant's bottom tower
Killed
is
all
under
across
attack.
the map all of a sudden. I am a bit shocked that Karka actually survived there.
Dire's middle tower
He
is
should
under
have exploded.
attack.
I believe he was dead.
Yeah, that's a surprising non-commitment from Red Panda. Of course, I'm sure Kaka's going to be counting his lucky stars there for that hesitation. And that does give IG a bit of a kill a bit of a lead in the kill board, 3-1.
Radiant's bottom tower
but they are
is under
lagging
attack.
a bit behind in terms of farm. Not much of an advantage for SAG. That's still a lot of free space for God King. He's at level 8 now. He's rushing his Yasha with 3 Wraith Bands. So he hits like a truck. And they're setting up for a bot tier 1 push now.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Great.
attack.
Emo, every time he sees Snapfire, just keeps chasing him down with Flame Guard. And, well, he's just got enough damage to take him out. There's not much September can do
Radiant's
about
bottom
it.
tower has fallen.
Look at JT moving himself. And look, they're happy to start pressuring that mid tier 1 tower now. Setsu gonna chase down Emo for a little bit, but eventually we'll just let it survive.
To my house.
Take a one back
Dire's
away
top tower
side of
is under
SAG
attack.
while they're there in that triangle. I guess the game plan from IG can be aggressive enough. It's gonna lock down the farming spots for God
Dire
King, and it's gonna
are
open up
scanning.
more farming spots for Fly. Speaking of Fly, John, he's been a bit behind in net worth, so he kind of needs it.
Yeah, he's been severely behind. I think that's been the story of the lane matchups. It's just that he was kept severely in check by OP God. Even with all those support rotations away, just one-on-one, the Venomancer wins out. So he's going to need a lot of time investment does get given the top lane for himself. There's some good wards. Watching the jungle as well. It's a relatively safe spot for Fly5 to play a catch-up. It's the progression's just not as fast as even God King. God King is up there, just kind of matching with JT and Emo. It's a lot better progression for our TB. Major item spikes to watch out for here for IG is the blink on JT. He's got his Veil up. That boosts his damage and his Ember's damage. He just needs that blink to really get closed out. SAG, they're just looking for perhaps a quick earn Spirit Vessel on OP God to really start melting these heroes from IG's side.
Getting there, just needs the recipe, and I believe might be out of the courier. It's going to be the Abaddon courier, so not
Dire's
quite
top
yet.
tower is under
The rest
attack.
of ID just
Dire's
casually pushing that top
structures
tier
are
2 tower, understanding
Radiant
that they can't really
structures
fight
are
back right now
fortified.
because God King's still farming. The rest of their CD is just casually chasing Emo across the map. But Emo's not really killable at the moment. You don't have the lockdown. He should be just fine to keep running up and down this bot lane. Maybe not anymore. Reflection is going to be out. He'll be fine. He'll just run it out of it. It's just so much wasted time out from SAG.
Radiant's middle tower
I
is
think
under
it's down to
attack.
the fact that the bot
The
lane's the
rune
safest
of
spot
illusion.
for them to farm up as well, considering where they have vision, where they've got control. They're just playing opposite to where IG is farming up as well. Just giving themselves that space holder.
Maybe this time they get Emo. He's going to go for the TP play. No, he's going to remnant out, but it won't matter. It's because Sensu had a haste rune active. He's going to be chased down no matter what. He really had no
Radiant's
other
bottom
TP
tower
play.
is under
That
attack.
didn't work out. Bit unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a great pickup for SAG, though. Kind of ties up those earlier losses, tying it up 4-2. 1k advantage on SAG's end. There is the blink now from IG, though. So JT's got to wait to force out these fights. Again, they've got that Veil for a while. They've got ways of amping up their damage. If they wanted to force the issue, IG could come out on top in these exchanges.
Now's the time. You know, you're still trying to buy Fly a lot of space
Radiant's
here.
bottom tower
Top
is
lane
under
looks like they
attack.
are going to lose Ollie in the process. Side move to go. They'll go into the mid lane. Red Panda going to be caught out. They can get him, but he does have backup coming in. No borrowed time, but it won't matter if he just runs his way out. And now the 8th Remnant locking down Emo. He's forced to run out of there, but Sensu is on the chase. Emo. He does duke out a lot of the magic damage from Sensu with the sleight of fists. Eventually, both teams will just back the hell away.
Yeah, it's not quite the way you want that blink
Radiant's
to be able to
middle
be from
tower is
JT.
under attack.
Don't really manage to hammer in a kill. That time has given OP God his Spirit Vessel, so as soon as he gets charges on this Venomancer, it's going to be a lot harder to sustain yourself, especially Fly if he gets caught up. And Fly again,
Radiant
we're
are
seeing the
scanning.
appearance of the Midas on a core for a
Radiant's middle
slower
tower
game, and
is
they're
under
going to have to
attack.
stall out for that morph with this kind of build-up.
Real process here for Fly. Still mid lane IG. They've smoked up. They've got JT there with the blink epi. They've got Kaka right next to him. SAG, they're sticking as a team. They're making it very, very hard to try and get in range to actually initiate this team fight. IG, they know exactly where they are, but they just don't have an angle. Eventually, I believe they just... Oh, Epi got him. Runs right into JT with the arrow. And that's what we're actually waiting for. Really nice play out from the side of IG. They just understood the farming pattern of God King.
That's one way to punish out that Terrorblade. I mean, he's still top of
Dire's
network,
top tower
but that's
is under
really an
attack.
important kill for IG to even it out. Do finally manage to really make use of that early blink up on JT. So with that kill, they go back to farming up. They still maintain good control in that jungle, mind you. They've still got that deep ward in. It is pinged out. SAG should get a D ward out soon.
To my house.
But for now, that's a lot of value in terms of control for IG.
Dire's
SAG
bottom
hasn't
tower
had that
is under
opportunity
attack.
to punish Fly in a while as well.
Scoop. Give it.
They're going to put the mid lane in now. God King has the meta. Just decides he's going to make
Radiant's
this
middle
T1
tower
push
is
happen.
under attack.
You know the epicenter's down, so there's nothing like that to worry about. But no, maybe
Radiant's middle tower has
bottom lane,
fallen.
DT's been bought out. So team on mid tower going down as
Dire's
well as a
bottom
kill
tower
on
is under
JT.
attack.
The best that IG could get was Firefly. He ended up killing off September on the Snapfire. But that was really it. It's a pretty
Dire's
big win
bottom
on
tower
SAG.
is under attack.
Yeah, they're just finding the favorable trades.
Dire
Of course,
are
you see
scanning.
a nice little item pickup from God King as well. He finishes up his SMY. So RTB's now a lot tankier.
Radiant's
He can stand in
middle
front, do
tower
a
is
lot
under
more
attack.
damage out. And this is kind of the start of when SAG's draft should be online.
Nice little pick up there from Setsu as well onto the
Dire's
Mirana.
top tower is under
Killed him off
attack.
very, very simply. Just used into the Aether Remnant and eventually just leaped in after they leaped. Very simple kill. And gee, they're just waiting, playing the patience game. More time.
Radiant's bottom tower
Firefly
is under
is being
attack.
jumped as we speak.
Dire's
He's waiting
middle
for the
tower
TP
is under
away.
attack.
Can they cancel it in time? Cookie will not land in time. Was on target. Just a matter of a split couple seconds.
Shadows.
Ooh, man, that's
Radiant's
it was a
bottom
dangerous
tower
spot
is
for
under
Firefly,
attack.
though.
Get OP.
It was not love.
They are not playing around here. They just want a quick kill and a quick back off. That's what they'll get.
Yeah, it's a nice pickup for them. Again, they're punishing that Venomancer, and this is really the time where OP God should be taking control in these fights.
Radiant
we talk about this
structures are
with the
fortified.
Veno every single time, but at some point this hero will taper off. Once you see BKBs fly out, once you see perhaps even a pipe on JT down the line,
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Setsu lane is in a lot of trouble. It does go down.
Dire's middle
A lot
tower
of time
has
coming out from
fallen.
IG. Now Firefly will
Radiant's
take the
bottom
mid-team
tower
one
is under
tower.
attack.
Just casually
Dire's
holding
top
previous
tower
6k
is
gold.
under attack.
Small
yeah, it's, he's got a lot
Radiant's
of
bottom
options to
tower
itemize.
is
He
fallen.
could still opt for the early shotgun. He could opt for maybe some stat padding,
Dire's structures
stat padding
are
first to keep himself secure. And
Dire's
they take
top
that
tower
to tier 1
is
after
under
that kill.
attack.
They go straight to the top tier 2. Of course, SAG was given space to clear out the bot tier 2 for themselves. So this is going to be a bit of a
Dire's
trade
top
for IG
tower
just to
is
even
fallen.
out that map control.
I wonder how concerned IG are about God King right now. Well, the Firefly's caught up really nicely.
Radiant's
He's
bottom
just
tower
ahead of,
is under
God
attack.
King at the moment. You kind of just wonder, like, how worried they are, because God King's been missing for quite a bit of time now. He's working towards Knife Sky, which we all know does make the Morphin's life even harder, especially when you do have the Spirit Vessel already up on OP God. You start to question the viability of that Morphing once the Iron Sky is up on God King. Like, you don't necessarily have the greatest ways of just bursting down the TB in the middle of the team fight.
No. It's going to be a slight factor. Again, the Terrorblade does come online a bit faster, but then he becomes constrained by Metamorphosis. So on that end, IG's got more uptime, if you want to call it that, on their Morphling and Firefly, and he is opting for that shotgun. I believe he is flying it out. So he's got the burst. He doesn't have any way of protecting himself. No BKB, no Lincolns. So he is highly susceptible answer to the magical burst that can fly out. He's got to watch that spacing, but if he gets to hammer in on the Terrorblade, that's really just one way to burst down a big tanky hero like that in a snap.
Yeah,
Radiant's top tower
you
is
have
under
Emo
attack.
that can follow up for JT for striking with an X.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
For that shotgun,
Trickster's rune of illusion.
enough to follow up
Dire's
still, just kill
courier
off God
has been
King.
killed.
Especially prior to him having this Eye of Scardia, but now they're going to push in that top tier 1 tower. They'll get that and going to try and go for the tier 2.
Radiant's
I mean,
top
you've got
tower
Metamorphosis
is under
up, so
attack.
you may as well do it.
Dire's bottom tower is
Side
under
of IG,
attack.
unwilling to try and
Radiant
defend, are going to just
structures
try
are
and
fortified.
trade towers.
Dire's bottom tower
But
has
all they can
fallen.
get is a bot tier 1
Dire's
tower.
middle tower is
I'll
under
take your
attack.
Pushing the mid tower a little bit, but not even going to bother. Surprisingly enough, however, SAG don't actually manage to take out that tier 2 top tower. They have to back off after a bit of time, and looks like they're just not going to commit for it. So
Dire's bottom tower is
ultimately
under
not that
attack.
bad of a trade. He does assimilate in time, and he will astral set
Radiant's
his way
top
up.
tower is under attack.
Close to
It's a spells to kind of commit for that kill. That doesn't happen, so that's an opening for SAG if they want to counterplay right now. They know the epicenter's down. They know the Earth Splitter's down. That's all the AoE team fight for IG kind of being blown up.
Radiant's top
They
tower
could try
is
to
under
opt for a
attack.
smoke of their own and find some
Dire's
punches on
bottom
that.
tower is under
They might
attack.
just go for Firefly. He's just going to be there. Eighth Remnant going to lock him in. Do they have enough damage is the question. Cookie?
Oh,
Not
no.
gonna land. Firefly, he'll just TP out of there. Big missed opportunity. Side of the SAG not going to be happy about that one.
No, it's the one weakness of their drafting. We've seen that in play like 2 times now. They just don't have the control as soon as they expend that remnant. Everything else is really just not a guarantee. And with that kind of control issue, I mean, it's just going to be relatively easy for IG to continuously do this, especially once you see BKBs in play. That's exactly what Fly is going for next. It would be hard pressed to catch out this Morph and even burst him down. That's the point where OP God's Venom, it just fades away when these BKBs fly in.
Pretty much becomes a pointless hero.
Radiant are
He's
scanning.
gonna pipe up, he can contribute that to the team. IG is just getting ready to set up for the first Roshan of the game, which no side's really touched yet, but it's about that time.
Radiant's
Still,
middle tower
if you
is
do go
under
into the
attack.
Roshan now, you'll be fighting into the Aghanim Scepter of Setsu. Things are more complicated, and on top of that, God King does have his Eye of Skadi coming out on the courier, so they're probably
Radiant's
thinking the
bottom
same
tower
thing.
is under
Might
attack.
be about that time to go for a Roshan play. They have smoked up, but they're gonna try and use OP God as bait instead. Actually, for SAG, they're not falling for that bait. Instead, JT is gonna sit there in the mid lane and just stand up and dust him up, and he'll blink immediately.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Leave to nothing.
They might
Radiant's
be able
middle
to chip
tower
away
is
at
under
this tier
attack.
2. They could commit if they wanted to. They are giving some room for IG to just basically farm that top lane for free. And yeah,
Dire's
it's
top
just
tower
not
is under
quite the
attack.
most efficient use of time. They're still hugging around that area though. They're still looking for
Radiant's
stragglers
middle
here.
tower is under attack.
Moonlight Shadows can make it very difficult to get anyone. Setsu just committed all his actual step charges, so damage isn't really there anymore. He's just going to farm the bot lane. Yeah, they'll give up. God King, he'll go up top and just farm that top wave out a little bit. While all this walking around's been happening for SAG, Firefly, he's been freely farming up. He is very close to a BKB now.
Dire are scanning.
That's going to be very problematic for SAG. You talked about lockdown and how SAG are lacking that. With BKB, they've got no way to get through the Firefly and just lock him down. It's damage from God King. That's all he's got.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tricky. It looks like they might want to be clumping up for another smoke. The best one is there are some wards there. They're just gonna stick to this one. You're constantly doing this SAG, and on the
Radiant's
one hand, it
middle
keeps
tower
them
is
safe.
under
On the
attack.
other, it's not very efficient time. You're not farming on your TB. You're not farming on your Void Spirit. That's just IG continuously padding onto this gold lead, and well, that BKB we were talking about being very close, it's actually there. Very soon for Fly. It's flying out. Does get his Nagos up first, but there you go. Full mana. Got his BKB. It's IG's turn to
Dire's
consider a
bottom
smoke
tower
out
is under
and
attack.
really just apply that pressure.
They might just rush for a smoke into a Roshan play now. Knowing with that BKB, Firefly theoretically should be unkillable as long as the BKB doesn't wear out. And I'll hold out for now. It does reveal the BKBs, he's in the mid lane, but in the bottom spot, Setsu
Dire's bottom tower
catch
is
out
under
Emo.
attack.
They were just they were fighting over the regen, so
Yep.
just
My path
posturing around each
leads to
other.
riches.
Yeah, Setsu wins out in the end, I guess. If you consider that win.
Trying to go after Kaka, he'll just leap out of there.
I'll take your tribute.
This is really part of the coordination issue I was talking about before. It just seems like there's not really a set game plan for SAG right now. Like, you could definitely just keep saying to yourself, we let God King farm up, and eventually he becomes a powerhouse. but I just don't know if that's going to be enough.
I honestly don't think so. Like, again, when it comes down to it, you think about the Terrorblade, Metamorphosis is your constraint. You know, it's the one variable that's always going to be limiting your potential because you have to play around that cooldown. And we've seen that work for it and against it in the late game. It's just, it's such a big variable to throw into, especially with buyback timings
Dire's
and
bottom
stuff like
tower
that. It's
is under
just
attack.
tricky to really pin all your hopes on the Terrorblade. And even then, you have to consider that Fly can just morph into the Terrorblade. You know, and he's going to be a better Terrorblade with Metamorphosis as well, that morph. So there's a timing issue here for SAG. I think they really do have to try to find something a lot faster. As, again, OP God now, I'd say 26 minutes in, it's pretty much a non-factor. He's at level 13 on the offlane Venom. He's not skilled at all. And IG's just constantly taking over this jungle. They're grouping plus 5. They're confident, and SAG, I mean, they've just missed out on a lot of openings there, just from a lack of control and coordination, as you mentioned.
They're just waiting for its Roshan, it seems, IG now. They're taking out, they obviously want to pick off before they go for that Roshan plant. Perhaps they can get Red Panda or Barge back in with the arrow follow-up, and that'll be for its time being expended. Even gets him with the chain, that'll be purged off, and well, the Earthquake does get wasted. SAG just hanging about, waiting to reinitiate if they need to. But you've got the Moonlight Shadow on now from IND. Thank God. He's going to be a catch-up. Red Panda is the good side of the other. He'll make a run for it now. Fly trying to man up, but he is in big trouble right now. He waveformed in, and God King is just manning up. Fly does not want to hit the Terrorblade. He wants out of there. He'll go for the TP, but the Acer Remnant will not latch on in time. And strange engagement, but they
Radiant's
kind of
middle tower is under attack.
But they just want to back out.
Radiant structures
Yeah,
are
that's,
fortified.
I think it's because they couldn't burst down Red Panda, and going for the Abaddon first hasn't been paying off. Mind you, that's a pause for Abaddon at level 11. They're just not able to get that one hero advantage yet, and SAG, they hang on. That was the 10-second BKB of Fly being expended. They do manage to waste that resource out as they go back to farming.
Radiant's
Currently
courier has been killed.
7% the way by Gene, and actually did substantially off that last engagement. So IG, while still theoretically the lead here, is anyone's game to win. Odd King, you're getting to that point now
Dire are
where
scanning.
we talked about control. It's decided he's going to work on a bad push to the missile blade. In fact, they might just go for a team fight now. So did stand out the Roshan being done. OP done, and Yules, but a nice block out from God with the illusion. Putting the arrow there, so OP is able to just walk out. Now he's a one step of God. He is threatening, still far strike. Sets of Yules up the Sand King. And just going to prop them to JT. He's still fine. God, trying to decide whether this is going or not. There's those Morpheus kisses, forcing the burst strike out from JT. And with the Metamorphosis, I can't really commit all the way, but they're somehow still
Radiant's
pushing
top
back
tower
on
is under attack.
This just unwilling to fight, even without the meta being available in SAG.
Radiant's
Big
middle
factor
tower
there
is
is
under
actually
attack.
OP God's pipe. It's keeping everyone alive a lot longer than you'd expect. And that instant burst IG's banking
Radiant's
on to
middle
get the numbers
tower has
advantage.
fallen.
It's not coming out fast enough. So it's causing a lot of issues here for IG as SAG just continues to stay in the game. There's no trading to be done here. But all these movements forward are costing IG a bit as they do fail.
Caught out Emo as he put enough time with the fans he made, but he will get the BKB expended there from Emo. It's his 10-second charge, having to be used up to get out of that. And that does mean that if they wanted to rush the Roshan right now, Emo will not have a
Radiant's
BKB
courier
available.
has been killed.
And Blind
That's a big one.
lost his Aghanim Scepter Just died on the
Dire's
courier
middle
for
tower
another
is
3
under
minutes
attack.
and 15 seconds, right?
Radiant's top
And
tower
there's
is under
never been a
attack.
better Roche timer for the side of SAG.
Dire's structures
It's a
are
perfect
fortified.
time for them to dip into that first
Radiant's
version,
top
mind
tower
you. And
has fallen.
well, I mean, IG still has ways of playing in, but if they lose Ollie,
He's big factor in all this. Like Ollie is just dead.
Dire's courier has been killed.
No 2 ways about it.
Radiant's
He's
top
gone.
tower is under attack.
I
God
have
King
no
is as good as
fear.
the Roche. They've accepted the fact that they can't actually counter this Roche on playing from SAG. I would say that probably tails in their favor on the win possibility is going to be very, very meaningful in this game.
Roshan has fallen to the dark.
It's that point where they start
Shadows
just slowly
take
falling behind.
yeah, it's, we've got a lot of tools on for SAG.
God King getting a jump on. Oh, the Ghost Scepter didn't. He shotgun JT.
Oh,
No! Fly, he can't TP. Smashed by the Terrorblade.
oh no. Oh, God.
Oh, fine. He's gonna wait for him away, but he's dead.
Oh, that is...
The shotgun landing on your own teammate instead of the enemy. That would have been a guaranteed kill onto the TB. That is really unfortunate.
That's...
What do you say about that, right? It is just... That's the one thing you didn't want to happen.
No. It's a massive loss for IG. SAG, they're going to be chopped about that kill on the Morph, of course, and just taking away the impact
The rune
of our
of
Morph. You know,
regeneration.
I mean, Fly's been delayed on his Ags anyway. He's still waiting for it to fly out. It's still going to be a minute. SAG, they just get to rush up. They've got everything they want. You know, at some point, God King's going to have his Abyssal up as well. He's just 2 parts away. It gets really hard.
Dire's top tower is under
All of a
attack.
sudden, SAG, they'll jump in and there's that AOC from JT trying to run away, but
Radiant's
that Ice
bottom
Guardy
tower is
slowing
under
him
attack.
down. Quite decent here, but it's not really doing enough. Last arrow, however, but there's no follow-up. This could just be the first attacks of the game going
Radiant
down.
structures are fortified.
Classic SAG.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, God King, he's not backing off. He knows, I'm not here, I'm gonna let him.
Radiant's
I'm not
bottom
talking
tower
right
is
now,
fallen.
even. Get called out by the different like, you know, now the Aegis in a burrow. Now Setsu does jump in after the King and Evo. In the middle of the needs to back off with JT, who's definitely gonna die. And they are not done yet, they want that 5 rounds. They want the buyback out from BT on the set keep.
Radiant's bottom tower is fallen.
That would be enough. Or maybe not. God King turns back around one more time for reflection. That'll be it.
Oh yeah, it's a big win for SAG. They turn a fairly even game into a 6k advantage for themselves. They forced a buyback from JT as well, so we're standing on a bit of a precarious spot on having that second life available. It only costed SAG the Aegis. So there's still a lot of leeway there. They're going to get to reset for the next Metamorphosis, find another opportunity, and IG, they have to find
Radiant's bottom tower is under Radiant's bottom
Now JT, he's getting very, very low. SAG looking great this team fight. They go after Emo now, bashing him up with the Terrorblade. That's it, GG's been cornered. They can't defend without the buybacks of Emo and Firefly. Oh, what a way to get the team SAG. That game shouldn't have been theirs. I believe IG should have just won that game outright. Couple of mistakes, and eventually God King, he does God King's shot. He's playing terrible.
Yeah.